Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Football Manager 2018 with Zebu Nation. This is our Wings of Glory save starring LAFC, and we are about to begin our second season in the MLS. But before we get to that, we of course have to have our patented preseason spectacular. So let's start our preseason spectacular with just sort of going back over what happened last season in case you missed it, in case you didn't watch the end of last season. We finished in 10th place down here in the Supporters Shield, which was pretty good. I mean, it was our very first season in existence, so finishing mid-table, slightly above mid-table is pretty good. No doubt about that. In terms of Western Conference, we finished 5th and qualified for the playoffs, where we beat FC Dallas in the wild card round. Unfortunately, in the in the actual playoffs, the conference semifinals, we kind of got beat pretty bad by Portland, 7-3 in aggregate. So they kind of showed us our level. They showed us, we're not quite there with the top of the league. But as you can see, MLS champions, Portland actually went on to win the league 2-1. Well, not win the league. They won the MLS Cup, which is the postseason championship. Toronto actually won the regular season championship, which is the Supporters Shield. And if you look at last season, these two teams played each other for the Cup last season. So Portland and Toronto are really the two best teams in the league right now. They have really solidified that spot. So these are the guys we got to look up to and say, how can we beat Toronto and Portland? How can we be more like these guys and, find a way to improve our team? And that's what we look at in the preseason spectacular. So we know where we came from. We came from, pretty decent position. We made a good initial season, good first steps. And now we got to build on that first steps, and it starts in the off season. So let's run down the checklist, the old off season check. Oh, wait. There was something else I wanted to recap from last season, which was a couple of our players won some awards. I got my notes here in front of me. I almost forgot. Let me take a look. Where are these guys? We are looking for Marky Delgado. Take a look at him. His history. Is it milestones? Yeah, so he won the goal of the year last season, which was pretty cool. He was also named to our best 11. He won the Supporters Player of the Year. So our fans voted Delgado as the player of the season for our team. And he finished 3rd in the USA Player of the Year. So the best American-born players go up for this award. He was 3rd place. So that's pretty good for one of our guys. We can take a look at his stats last season. He played in 29 games. We picked him up in the December waiver draft. So we picked this guy up off of waivers. Nobody wanted him, or at least his other team cut him for who knows what reasons, salary cap reasons. He ended up with 6 goals, 4 assists, 3 players of the match awards, and a 7.19 rating. So that's pretty good. It's not world beater. That's probably why he didn't win the actual USA Player of the Year award, but it's incredibly steady. And for a guy that we played all over the field, we played him all over the midfield, even at fullback and places like that. So for a guy that we moved around the lineup, he was incredibly steady for us. And that's what you need a lot of times with a young team. You need a player who can hold it all together. And speaking of young players, Alan Martinez, our number 1 draft pick last season in the MLS Super Draft, he won the MLS Rookie of the Year. He was also named to our best 11, and he had an outstanding season for a rookie. Take a look at his career stats. 35 games. He played pretty much every game for us as a rookie. That is, kind of unheard of. A lot of times rookies will hit a wall and they won't be able to, finish out a full season. But this guy did it. He stayed healthy, productive. He got a goal, 7 assists for a rookie midfielder, pretty good. 7.0 rating is really good for a young player, and so we can be very, very proud of those two guys who achieved a lot for us last season. All right, now it's checklist time. Run down. Let's take a look at the academy. We had our intake, and it was a very good intake. We got a few guys who weren't so good down here at the bottom, like Francisco Pring. He's probably not going to do much for us, but we had 3 outstanding high-quality prospects. Number 1, Brett Hamilton, attacking midfielder on the left-hand side. This guy's got speed and agility for days. He's got some pretty good mental attributes, decision-making, leadership, aggression. His technicals aren't too bad for a 16-year-old, and he's got 4-star potential, so we're going to look for this guy. His problem, he's unambitious, so we're going to have to get him some tutoring and see if we can get his determination to rise a little bit. But our number 1 prospect from this year's intake was this fella right here, Charlie Young, a goalkeeper. He's also unambitious, so we also have to get him going. Even though he's got 16 determination, I don't know what makes a guy unambitious versus ambitious when you got 16 determination. But anyway, look at this kid, 16 years old. His technical stats are off the charts. Reach, command, handling, kicking. His one-on-ones are not really good, but he's got 14 reflexes, 15 rushing out. I mean, this kid is an outstanding prospect, and with 4-star potential, 2-star ability right now as we speak, he's going to be a monster for us, at least in the under-20s. Hopefully he'll, make our under-20s incredibly effective and efficient. But in a couple of years, this guy could be our starting goalkeeper. And then the final guy we brought in was Mark Roberts, a 16-year-old striker. Very good fitness and, acceleration, stuff like that. Work rate, aggression. He needs to work on his technicals to be a striker. But he's got a lot of potential, too. He's got 3-star, possibly 4-star in potential. So we're looking pretty good. Youth intake, as always, pretty good. Finances, likewise, $50 million in the bank, no problem. LA, we got all kinds of money coming in and going out. It's A-OK. Budget-wise, again, we got $10 million of payroll left over that we're just not using. We got almost $8 million transfer budget. Unfortunately, we got all this money, we just can't use it because our designated player slots are all filled up, so we can't bring in anybody big just yet. So we're going to have to work on that in the next couple of years, but, it's okay. It's better to have money in the bank that you can't spend, I guess, than have no money in the bank and really need to spend it. So anyway, finances, looking good, looking fine. Board support, very secure, 72%. They are very happy with what happened last season, and we're going to keep all that up. They like how we're dealing with the finances. They like pretty much everything except some of our trades have been, and I agree with them, some of our trades have been a little imbalanced. But you know what, we're doing what we need to do, and that's fine. Club-wise, 3 stars. We're rich financially. We got, some good players. Watts and Caldwell are still our captains. Vela is still our key player. Brent Mendez is our hot prospect from Belgium. We'll take a look at that guy in a minute, but, we're looking really good as a club. No problems there. Transfers. Let's take a look at, preseason spectacular. That's what it's all about. It's all about the transfers. So let's take a look at what we've done, what we brought in, and it's basically been a youth intake. No big deals, no big signings. After last season, we take a look at last season's signings where we had like 1 million guys because we had to build an entire roster. This season's transfers looks paltry in comparison. We did bring one interesting fella in, Jordan Hamilton from Toronto FC. That's that team we're trying to be like and trying to beat. So we brought in one of their players, and he's a striker, a target man. Big, strong kid, 6 foot tall, 185 pounds. He shoots with power, plays with his back to the goal. He can play on the left wing as well if we need him out there. But this is a kid who's been kicking around Football Manager for a couple of seasons as a really good prospect that you can bring in, and if you nurture this guy, if you play him in previous versions of FM, he would really grow, and you could grow him up to a 4-star player. Now, he doesn't really have that potential in FM 18. He's only got 3 stars of potential in FM 18, but he was available for a free, again, it was the waiver draft, the December waiver draft, so he was just sitting there, and we needed more strikers. We needed some guys we could rely on, a target man to back up Rodrigo, and, why not take a flyer on this kid, and, he's looking pretty good. Then, of course, we brought up several players from our academy. Venegas, who is a 17-year-old defensive midfielder. This kid is getting better and better every day. Look at all those green arrows. He's on an upward trajectory. Very happy about this. A ball-winning midfielder. We use those guys a lot in our formation, so that's good. Brent Mendez, he's our number 1 prospect, as you saw on the previous screen. Central defender, another guy who's really good, especially his technicals. For a 17-year-old to have these kind of technicals and mental abilities, it's pretty good. So excited about his future. Then Julian Berry, a fullback on the right-hand side. He's another guy who's just getting better and better every day. And finally, Jimmy Orman, anchorman, defensive midfielder. Very good mental abilities, some pretty decent physical abilities. He needs to work on his technicals. But again, another defensive player. So there was basically 4 defensive players that we're bringing up from our academy. So in the years to come, our defense is going to be very solid. And then, of course, the other way we bring in youth players with MLS is, of course, the Super Draft. And our number 1 draft pick, Matt Conklin, a really interesting kid, 18 years old. You don't see many 18-year-olds in the MLS Super Draft, but this kid, he's a Generation Adidas player, so that means he comes into the Super Draft a little bit different way than most of the other players. Most of the other players come into the Super Draft via, the NCAA, the college ranks, college teams, things like that. But Generation Adidas players are players who come up more through like the academy system, and they're just players who are pegged from an early age as being high-quality players. And so we got him in the first round. We didn't even have the very first pick. We had like the 10th or 11th pick, something like that. So to get this kind of kid that late in the draft, very excited about that. He's got, good mentals, very good technicals, pretty good physicals, just all-around kid, lots of potential. So very excited about that. He came from the U.S. Developmental Academy, as you can see, not a college or university or anything like that. And our next pick was Jordan Sargent, 21-year-old central defender. He's just sort of a dude who can come in, play central defense, and that's about it. 15 tackling, 15 strength, 6'4". So he's just a big, strong kid, very aggressive, 17 aggression. So we got to worry about maybe getting some penalties. But he's fine. He's just a dude. There's 10 of these guys in every Super Draft. If you ever need a central defender, just go in the Super Draft, pick one of these guys, and they're fine. You're fine. No problem. Then, some of our later round picks, Nathan Klein, a winger. He can play on the right wing, but we drafted him because he can play inside forward on the left-hand side, which is kind of important to our tactic. And he's got what you need, sort of, he's just a guy. He's got some crossing, some dribbling, some finishing, some first touch. He's not going to blow you away. He's just a reserve type dude. But, we got draft picks. We might as well spend them on guys we can use, and this is a guy we can use. And then our last draft pick was John Lowe, attacking midfielder on the right. And we picked up this guy because he was just the best available guy. And he's got tremendous physicals. 15 pace, 14 agility, acceleration, balance. This kid, he's a speedster out there on the wing, and he's got 17 flair. So hopefully, if we bring him in, he can at least make a few plays, do some unexpected things, get some crosses into the box, do something for us. And that's really all you need out of a reserve, is just a guy who can come in and do something. and hopefully this guy will be able to do that for us. So those are our intakes. Not really too thrilling, but a lot of youth. We're still building the club and looking to the future. And some of the guys we let go of Alvarez, Duncan, Bubakari, and Castano. All of those guys on free transfers. They just left. They're all out there still. If we need them, we can go back and pick them up again. Probably the only guy that we might pick up would be Kyle Duncan, the tackling machine. If you remember him from last season, he played 13 games for us, 16 tackling, 16 fitness. So he's a guy who basically just runs around and tackles people, but he's got a little bit of skill too. So he's a guy, if we need him, if we have some injuries at fullback, we'll bring back Duncan, and he can do a job for us. The one sort of decent player that we lost was Okogu, 27-year-old. It says defensive center back, but he can basically play center back, center mid, defensive mid. He can play all over the field. So this guy was a very valuable. He appeared to be a very valuable reserve for us, but we never used him because we had another guy who was exactly like him. So we were just kind of paying this guy just to be there and look good on the roster. So we let him go. He got drafted by New York in the waiver draft, and it's fine. They can have him. It's no problem. Then, of course, we sent a bunch of guys out on loan. We sent most of our youngsters out on loan. But something interesting I want to point out. You look at here, Jacob Hardy went to a team that I'm going to call IA because I really do not want to try to pronounce this name. Natsbjørnfleg, I don't, forget about it. It's Icelandic, which makes it, difficult for a North American to pronounce. But what I wanted to point out is that it is an Icelandic team, and if you are going to play in the MLS, I encourage you to load up the Icelandic leagues and the Nordic leagues because they really like to bring your players in on loan. I don't know what it is. We must share the same season. They must have some decent transfer rules that allow them to bring in young foreign players, because anytime I put a young player out for loan, an Icelandic team is out there to snap him up. So we got another guy down here going out to Fjolnir, Nathan Klein. And then we got another guy going to Kups, Kups. This is a team in the Finnish Premier League. So the reason this is so important is because these are real teams with real schedules, as opposed to the North American lower leagues. They're unplayable in the basic database. So which means they don't have a schedule. Like you look at, we sent Jimmy Orman out to Richmond. And you look at Richmond, they got 3 games on their entire schedule. They play friendlies against Colorado and DC United, and then they play a U.S. Cup game, and then they got nothing. They got no schedule. So your players, when you loan them out to other American teams, lower division American teams, you do get some experience. It's like some simulated experience, I guess. But you don't get any reports on the guys. They don't tell you, are they playing good? Are they playing bad? Are they happy? Are they sad? It's just sort of, you just have to trust the simulation. Whereas if you send them out to an actual playable team, like these guys, they got a real schedule. Look at that. They got a whole ton of games. And you can get, a more realistic kind of experience for your loan players. And also the Icelandic teams have some decent facilities, good training facilities, good youth facilities. So there's a lot of bonuses to loading up those Nordic and Icelandic leagues, and I encourage you to do so. All right. What else do we got on the checklist here? Medical center. We got a lot of guys who need some medical help going on right now. Look at that, just about a whole team. But we've had a pretty packed preseason schedule, so a lot of our reserves have got a lot of playing time, and that's what most of these guys are here. Smith, Munoz, Williams, Conklin, Boucher. Most of these guys are reserves, so we can be okay with them having some injury risk. We have had some actual injuries as well. Tejeda again is out again for an incredibly long period. 5 months. We've just put him on the injured list and said, get out of here. There's nothing we can do with him this season. So we basically lost one of our best players for the whole season. Rodrigo, our designated player, our striker, also has been injured for quite a while. He'll be back shortly. But we've had quite a saga with him during our preseason. As we tried to trade him. We tried to get rid of him to free up a designated player slot to go out and get somebody else to play at a different position. Maybe midfield, maybe defense. Wherever we need him. We just don't necessarily need this guy at striker. But he really didn't want to go. And the team really didn't want him to go. And there was kind of a mini revolt, and I had to promise him that we wouldn't sell him. So we're stuck. Rodrigo is going to be our striker going forward. There's not much we can do about it. We're just going to have to figure out how to play with this guy and hopefully get the best out of him. So in terms of if you and I were hoping to get a little bit of movement on the designated player slot, doesn't look like that's going to happen. We're stuck with Rodrigo, and I guess, we'll make the best of it. Roa has come off some injuries recently, as has Craig Williams, so we'll keep an eye on those guys. But, yeah, that's our medical center report. And speaking of team and revolts and dynamics, take a look at those. Average match cohesion. Our locker room atmosphere is still average, but it's on the decline because of all the stuff we had to do with Rodrigo. So we got a little bit of problems there. But leadership support is still good. So I'm happy about that. As you can see here, Rodrigo unhappy to have been touted to other clubs. Hierarchy. Vela is still our team leader. We still got a bunch of highly influential guys. Watts is our team captain. It's a pretty good hierarchy we got here. We got a lot of guys who support us. 13 who support us, including most of the highly influential players. So that's good. No players oppose us, so Vela doesn't oppose us anymore, so that's where we want to be. Social groups, we got one pretty good cohesive core. Still got a couple of guys holding out in the lower social groups here. Fernandez, Delgado, and a Tim. Our, little group of friends. And then Morias and Smith, some of our last holdout youngsters down here in Group B. And then the others are all of our youngsters and new signings and stuff. There's Hamilton and Sargent and Venegas, and all of our youngsters are down there. So that's pretty much what you'd expect. Happiness, training. You see this quite a bit in preseason. A lot of guys unhappy with preseason training just because they don't like to train hard, I guess. So I don't like making these guys unhappy, but we got to train. So we'll do this early season, preseason. We'll, train hard, and then we'll back off during the regular season, make everybody happy, and fine. It's fine. Let's see. I guess that's it for the rundown, for the checklist. Not much else in the checklist. Staff, I don't think any changes have really been made in the staff. No big moves there or anything like that. So we can finally get to our schedule. Take a look at how we've done this preseason. It's been okay, I guess. Really incredibly up and down. We've lost some games we shouldn't have lost. We lost to Tijuana. We lost to San Jose. Just not a very impressive preseason. A lot of draws, including draws against Rochester and Miami. Some lower division American teams. Our last game we drew against New England. So I don't really know how successful this preseason has been. Our guys have been a little blasé about the whole situation. So we're going to be playing Red Bull Salzburg in our final preseason matchup. This is our sort of big preseason matchup. The one you bring in a big team for the fans, somebody they haven't seen before. It's an Austrian team, a 3.5-star reputation team. So they're, a pretty good team. We don't know anything about their players, but you got to assume they're pretty good. And that guy looks pretty good. So, it should be a very difficult game for us, and it should be a game that gets us ready for the preseason, and hopefully these guys can respond to the challenge of facing another Red Bull team. How many Red Bull teams are there? Is what I want to know. Obviously, New York Red Bull. Obviously, these guys. I've heard of a couple of more. Is there like one on every continent? And does Red Bull really have that much money that they can just own half a dozen football teams? I don't know. I never drink Red Bull. This podcast is not brought to you by Red Bull, so you don't have to worry about that. I thought we were closer to the game, but I guess there's a bunch of stuff going on this preseason. We got our fitness tests to worry about. Roa is capable of playing in the next fixture. That's no problem. Marias, he's not going to start for us. Williams, Rodrigo obviously is injured. So here, we sent our guy out to Coops, K-U-P-S. What's their real name? Cups is their real name. But see, when you send a guy out to one of these teams, you get an actual scouting report on these guys, saying he was, subpar. All right. So if he keeps that up, we can yell at him and tell him to stop being so subpar. Get better. All right, here we go. We got, of course, it should be a familiar look to you if you watched any of our games this last season. We're going with the same formation. Pretty much the same tactics and everything else like that. This is a preseason match, so we got, 12 substitutes waiting in the wings. But here is our starting lineup. Stefan in goal. Romney and Roa at the fullbacks. Hector and Watts, our team captain in central defense. Caldwell, Delgado, Martinez. That was pretty much our midfield for all of last season. It's going to continue to be this season. Covea on the left-hand side. Pacheco's really solidified himself on the right. And then, of course, our superstar Carlos Vela playing the Tracartista role up there at the striker position. Who do these guys got? I don't know. A bunch of dudes that I don't know. But, yeah, we'll see what they're all about. All right, let's go. Kickoff. Might be a preseason friendly, but I still expect a win. Sure. All right, nobody cared about that. That's fine. At least we didn't make anybody mad. And here we are at home, Bank of California Stadium. As you can see, we got some new renovations taking place. Our corners are now all filled in with seats. We've added a few thousand seats, and that's cool. We've actually added a couple of thousand more season tickets. So again, our finances are going to be through the roof. But I feel like our stadium has lost a little bit of charm. Now it's just, your basic bowl stadium. There is a penalty kick. First 2 minutes of the game. It's not what we want to see. Alrighty, here we go. Galhardo slots it. Alright, so that's fine. That's good. That's great. Going to go 1-0 down in the very beginning of the match. We have time to sort of settle in. Not that there's much of a crowd here. I thought this game would garner a little better crowd, but I guess not. At least it's not raining in Los Angeles, which this game makes it rain in Los Angeles too much, but not today. Here's Roa centering it to Delgado. 3 minutes in, and we're already down a match. There's down a goal. There's Vela he takes a lot of shots like that in the preseason, so just, warming up the old left foot, no problem. So yeah, our stadium has lost a little bit of charm with the improvements. It doesn't have like the little tents and vendors and stuff, and it actually looked more like the real stadium before we did the upgrades. So now it kind of looks a little too generic, in my opinion, but oh well. We fit some more players in there, so that's good. Here's Watts. Oh, the header off the crossbar. Corner play starting to pay dividends for us early in the season. Are those Salzburg fans up here in the pink and white? I guess their colors are sort of reddish and whitish. Hintrigger. It's interesting. I gotta look at these guys' names and try to pronounce them. No, let's not do that. All right, here's Watts getting it forward to Delgado. Delgado up to Vela. Vela surrounded on all sides by the defense. There's a risky tackle, but Covea is there. You know, Covea has 15 finishing for a winger, which is outstanding, but he just doesn't score goals. I don't know what it is. Like, a guy with 15 finishing, I feel like should have scored there. Here's Martinez on the kicks. Drops it back for Covea. That's interesting. Don't see him do that much. Here's Pacheco with a shot. I mean, that ball went off of Hector, and the goalkeeper made absolutely no move. Like, he just knew it was going wide. Sometimes these goalkeepers just are like, you know, psychic or something. They can see the future and just see that a goal is not going to go in, so they don't even bother moving. I mean, why not? All right, there's Martinez with a nice steal on defense. Watts chucks it forward. Martinez wins it again. I'm really hoping for some big gains from Martinez this year. You know, last year, Rookie of the Year, and we're hoping to avoid that sophomore slump. There's Vela with a shot. You know, we're hoping to avoid that sophomore slump and have him actually improve this season. And, you know, take a step to being like an all MLS caliber guy. Because that's what you expect out of your first round draft picks. Is you really, especially #1 overall like that was. Here's Vela on the run. Boot downfield. He has beat the defense one-on-one with the goalkeeper. So, you know, still a little rusty. Still preseason. But we can tell him to concentrate, right? Concentration sounds like a good idea. When you start missing goals like that, it's 2 or 3 guys who made shots that probably should have gone in, or at least been on goal. So I feel like they're just not concentrating. All right, here's Covea down the left-hand side. Centers it again to Vela. Vela with a shot on target this time. That's good. Valke with the stop. So, yeah, you know, that's the thing about having a young team is guys need to improve for your team to get better. You know, if you're not going to go out and buy high-priced free agents or go out and get big-time transfers, stuff like that, then you actually have to hope your players develop and become those big-time players rather than having to just go out and buy big-time players. There's Vela, heads it down to Delgado. We know Delgado can shoot. He got the goal of the year in MLS last season. So it's not a bad option to get him the ball. Here's Roa, corner kick on the near side. He drops it back. What is this? This is not part of my plan. Covea takes a shot. I mean, it's not a bad shot, just not a lot of power behind it. Maybe we should train up some of these guys to shoot with power. A guy like Covea maybe use a more powerful shot. That might not be a bad idea. You know, I feel like when it comes to training, up till the age of 24, you should probably be more concerned about your stats and improving your stats, because that's when your guys can make the most gains. And then around the age 23 or 24, then maybe you start training these guys up to do special stuff. You know, shoot with power, dribble down the sideline, or whatever it is that you want your guys to do. But don't waste that training time when they're 18, 19, 20 on adding, you know, those kind of specific skills when they should be just increasing their overall stats. That's what I found. Oh, Pacheco got held there at the line. What's up with that? Should have been a holding call. 2 minutes in the penalty box. Valke just messing around with it. Sends it downfield. Pacheco intercepts. Martinez gets it. Gets it forward to Pacheco. These guys should know each other very well. Oh, what a pass. Threads the needle to Vela. There it is. There's our guy. A little forward somersault. Looking happy. Nobody congratulates him, though. I don't know if that's a preseason thing where the guys just don't congratulate each other, because Vela is in the main group now, so he should have some friends. But we had we had our winger on the left-hand side waiting for the rebound if there was one. So that was very good offense right there. All right, 40 minutes down. No problem. We got our goal, tied it up. You know, they had that cheap penalty goal to start the game off with. I kind of forgot about it, honestly. So early in the game, it slipped my mind. But we've tied it up going into halftime. That's really what you want in any game. The minimum is to be tied at half. All right. Analysis. Do coaches get us anything? No advice. No advice. All right. I guess we'll just go to the pep talk and say, like, keep it up. Happy with your performance so far? Oh. Vela. Let's talk to the attackers, I guess, and say, been unlucky so far. Good effort. Okay. I don't think that helped. Vela has seemed to lose focus. Okay. So, yeah, that's not good. Our number one goal scorer has now lost focus, so hopefully that doesn't hurt him too much. Covea to Delgado. Let's start the attack. But this is, the opening highlight, so probably not much is going to happen here. It is raining now. Welcome to sunny Los Angeles, where it rains 50 days a year. It's like we're playing in Scotland or Portland or something. It's the little things that break the immersion, right? Rain in a game is no big deal. But when you're playing in Los Angeles, it shouldn't rain. I'm just here to tell you, it shouldn't rain. It's not like they get no rain. I looked it up, they get like 17 inches of rain a year. And most of that is like, really light drizzles. Not like big downpours like this, so I don't know. Although they do have a pretty good rain drainage system in Los Angeles. It's like pretty massive, so maybe they do get some big rains. I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist. I just know that I don't want it to rain anymore. All right, here's Delgado with a shot. Classic football. So what are we doing for this season? What are our goals? I think, obviously minimum make the playoffs like we did last season. But definitely want to avoid a slide. A lot of times in these kind of saves, when you overachieve your first season, you kind of slide back your second season. You get maybe a little overconfident. You start messing with bringing in new players and rotating in youngsters and all that kind of stuff. And things don't work out so good the second season. So I'm going to try to not do too much of that. As you can see, we're using basically the same starting lineup we used last season. So we're going to try to keep that cohesion. And I want to see year over year how these squad dynamics in the new FM18, how those squad dynamics help out. And will we be able to get above average in terms of our squad cohesion now that we've played 2 seasons with basically the entire, the same team? Why do they keep dropping the ball back there? Why aren't they sending it where I tell them to send it, which is short post? I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, here's Romney with the throw in on the far side. Gets it to Delgado. 83 minutes down. We should probably make a sub or two. Caldwell, Delgado, Martinez. Chips it forward to Covea. Back to Delgado. Yeah, nice shot. Nice shot. All right, what do we got here? Watts, 6.2 rating. That's no good. Bring in Clark for Watts. Roa, we need to get him out of there. He's looking really good, 7.0 rating, but he's a little tired, and he's coming off an injury, so we don't want to kill him. Martinez at 69%, not looking so hot. I guess we'll bring in Marias. He's got a bit of an injury issue himself, but he really needs some game time. He's so unfit right now. And then Vela is now looking calm, so that's good. He's got a 7.1 rating. Is there anybody else on the bench we want to get in there? Oh, We could bring in Hamilton. Take a look at Hamilton. See what he can do for us. We could bring him on the left-hand side for Covea. Make him the wide target man. Put him on attack. See if we can get Hamilton the ball. See if he can do something with it. That sounds like a good idea. Sure, why not? It's preseason. We got to draw. We've been drawing, as you saw in our schedule. We've been drawing every single game lately. It's getting a little monotonous. Hopefully we can kick it into gear for MLS and avoid a bad start like we had last season. Last season we started off pretty poorly. And this season, hopefully we've got the match cohesion and, everybody knows their role. There's a nice penalty kick into the 20th row. That guy put some pepper on that one. I think I've avoided calling out any names from Red Bull, so that's good. Stefan with a goal kick. This is the last 30 seconds of the match, so this is quite possibly the last highlight. Here is, that guy. Nilmar, is that like Neymar? I don't know. Gunbjörnsson to Both. I don't really want to call out these names at all. I don't like any of these names. Ratskowski, possibly that could be his name. Romney, nice tackle, but yeah. There we go. There's the end of the match. Not a very exciting game, but we got to talk about a lot of stuff, so I guess that's good. Talk to the team. Not paying attention to results right now. Whatever. Watts. Shut off, Watts. You played bad anyway. So, forget it. Forget you, buddy. All right. So there we are. We missed our chance to win. What do we got coming up on the old schedule? We got our very first game of the season versus, guess who? Toronto FC. And, oh yeah, that reminds me. I was going to look and see. No, we'll save this for the next episode. I was going to look and see where we're predicted to finish, but we'll save that for our MLS regular season debut, which is going to be coming up in just a couple of days here. So not a lot is going to change between now and then, so we might as well save that surprise for the next video. All right, so next video we're going to show you the first game of the MLS against Toronto. We're going to see where we're at. This is going to be a really good judge of how we've progressed in the offseason, or if we've progressed in the offseason at all. So, yeah, until then, I guess we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.